12th. For Sir Michael Stout, here's Mark.
In the racehorse lotto Brigadier Gerard Stakes Group 3, and it is Solid Stone and Ryan Moore who take them through the early stages. To Claymore racing in second, Hukum to the inside and neck away in third, then a length and a half back to the Grey Cash, who races in fourth position and is a little lit up and keen. Then in fifth place is Desert Crown. He races on the outside of Chichester as they go through the first 2.5 furlongs, and it is Solid Stone who plays the hare. He's out in front by 2 lengths. To the outside, it is Claymore who races in second. Hukum to the inside is in third as they take the dogleg turn. Cash racing in fourth. Then to the outside, Desert Crown, unhurried in the hands of Richard Kingscott, racing up on the outside of Chichester as now they race on towards the final 3/4 of a mile. And it's Solid Stone who still leads the way. He leads by about a length to Claymore, who will go into the turn racing in second. The Coronation Cup winner, Hukum to the inside, is in third. Cash racing in fourth. Chichester has now taken fifth, which means the Derby winner, Desert Crown, is now relegated to last of the 6 as they've gone through halfway and now racing on towards the final half mile of the Brigadier Gerard. And it is Solid Stone who leads by a length to Claymore in second position. Hukum travelling well in third in a bit of a pocket, looking for a bit of daylight now. On the outside is Cash, followed by Chichester, and Richard Kingscott now comes wide on Desert Crown. He has clear sailing, racing down towards the final 2.5 furlongs. They're quickening up. Solid Stone still just has the lead. Cash now begins to deliver a challenge, but Desert Crown has simply breezed into the race. Hukum, caught on heels, is back in fourth. They race now inside the final furlong and a half. Cash on the far side. Desert Crown to the near side. Desert Crown now ahead in front to Cash in second. Hukum now has got a clear run, but he's got a length and a half to find, and he's running out of time. Desert Crown. Hukum, though, is making giant inroads. Hukum down the wide outside is up in time, and Hukum wins. Beats Desert Crown into second, and in third, Solid Stone.
It is Hukum that has won. The Coronation Cup winner, a fine advertisement for the training skills of Owen Burrowns, who has nursed him back from serious injury after last year's Coronation Cup. They retired him, they brought him back, and this is why he has claimed the most notable scalp of Derby winner Desert Crown, who still has performed with great credit on his comeback, and third was his regular work companion, Solid Stone. That's probably how they finish in a piece of work, but in a piece of work, they haven't got this horse, Hukum, in front of them. And it is one over the old governor for Owen Burrowns. He beats his old boss, Sir Michael Stout, and Hukum it is that got that great sit round the inside, just in behind Desert Crown's pacemaker, Solid Stone, whilst Desert Crown made his ground up to the outside in fairly uninterrupted fashion. Then Hukum had to switch, but it was Hukum that had a target to aim at ultimately. What an absorbing race, Megan, one that will bear many, many repeats.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, I think when Richard Kingscott comes in and watches the replay, he's going to think, in fairness, if Hukum hadn't have beaten me, he would have been an unlucky loser, because Jim Crowley was boxed in at a really crucial point when Desert Crown managed to have a smooth run around the outside. Hukum, for me, was the paddock pick today. I thought he looked $1 million. The start was interesting. Everyone was real positive out the gates to try and get a nice position. Jim Crowley got box seat, and it ended up that Richard Kingscott did have to take back a little bit. And I just feel as if Richard would have been slightly frustrated that Cash was probably in the position he would have preferred, who was a bit awkward under Jamie Spencer.
The Cash it was that was the horse that towed Desert Crown into the race. Ryan Moore did set a nice swinging pace on Solid Stone, who's run a really good race in third, and given his unharried time in front, that wasn't that much of a surprise. But, you know, for this part of the race, Hukum, the eventual winner, has got the perfect sit, even if it ended up being an imperfect passage up the straight. It
will be interesting. Just before the bend, Jim Crowley has a look over his left shoulder to see if there's enough room for him to angle out, but Jamie Spencer's just there. Jamie Spencer's on his quarter, so he actually can't. I think at this stage Jim's thinking, if I've got room, I quite like to angle out so I don't end up getting stuck. That wasn't possible. He had to sit and suffer. I think what's ended up helping him is ultimately Claymore's got a little bit tired, and that's allowed him to eventually get out, but it was a tight, compact field, and like you said, Hukum looks to be in the nicest position, but when he got boxed in, it wasn't much fun.
And now this is where Desert Crown begins to click through the gears. Richard Kingston just eases him to the outside of Cash, who himself challenges to the outside of Claymore, and that manoeuvre keeps Hukum just in for a little while, and you do wonder whether it was almost a blessing in disguise, because it then forced Jim Crowley to leave his challenge last.
Yeah, quite possibly, and you know, they've ended up racing coming into the final 2 furlongs, not particularly early, just average, but you know, it's ended up being a real sort of sprint for home, if you like, and I think Hukum is one snug. I think you upgrade the performance. Desert Crown, you know, he's the Derby hero, but Hukum is extremely talented individual. We know that, and the fact that he did obviously get boxed in and managed to make up that ground is even more impressive. I thought at one point Jim was going to have the room, but as Jamie Spencer came up on Claymore's outside, it just meant that that gap, which was initially there, got tightened, and he has had to sit and suffer. But like you say, he's had someone to aim at.
It was around this time last year that we said that Hukum had finally stepped out of his little brother Baid's shadow. It was then a season cruelly curtailed by what we believed to be a career-ending injury, and then just in late autumn it was suggested that maybe, just maybe, they could get him back. And this has shown exactly why the Shadwell team persevered, because he's got the pedigree, he's got the physique, and most importantly of all, he's got the performance, and he has proven that his trainer, Owen Burrowns, has all of the attributes we associate with his old employer, the trainer of Desert Crown, Sir Michael Stout, that great patience. And patience has been rewarded, both in terms of the way this horse has been prepared this evening and the way that he's been ridden. Hukum takes a big scalp, but he's a big talent himself.
He is. He's a big horse. He's a big talent. A huge training performance from Owen Burrowns to get this horse back so well on his reappearance. Actually, will feel like they'll step forward from that return anyway, but I'd say they'll both be excited for a rematch.
Yeah. Distance requirements will be interesting. I mean, certainly Desert Crown didn't look short of pace today, and I wonder whether Sir Michael will have an eye on the Eclipse. The Prince of Wales, this comes up reasonably soon. As for Hukum, you know, every big race you like. I think we can safely say that the Coronation Cup next week might be a little sharp back for him, but there's all those big midsummer races that they can dream of, and I'm not sure why you wouldn't have a half think about Royal Ascot with him.
Absolutely, and look, he's shown pace. The way he quickened and showed that turn of foot was impressive, but he's got that stamina to step back up to 1.5 miles as well, so he's going to have the choices of both 10 and 12 furlongs. I love that he's so fresh and sort of darting around afterwards as well, so you know, that was an impressive performance. I loved him beforehand. I love seeing how he's behaving afterwards as well.
Still not loading at Chelmsford City. I'm just going to try and grab Jim Crowley as he comes back in. Jim, that is a hell of a performance in so many respects. Just those last couple of furlongs for me from your perspective.
He was very good. Obviously, he had been training well at home, and I'd even muttered the words to Owen, he's the best I've ever known the horse, and he almost got quicker at home. Obviously, he's won 1.6 miles. I think the key is the ground's beautiful tonight. He just likes to get his toe in a fraction. The way the race was run, I was in a bit of a pocket being where I was drawn. And as I'm on 1.5 miles, I didn't really want to set out the back one. I just had to hope it would open up, and it didn't. And then the two boys came past me, they got racing, and then because he was in a pocket, he was filling up the whole way, and he showed a turn of foot that we haven't seen from him before. So it was a very, very good performance, in my opinion.
6 years old, to get another string to your bow, and after what we thought was a career-ending injury, that guy over your shoulder's done some job on him, hasn't he?
Amazing job with it. You know, he's done well to get him back, and like I said, you saw what he could do in the Coronation last year with a bit of juice in the ground, and things in his favour. He's top draw.
Family serve you very, very well, Jim. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, Owen Burrowns had rotten luck with his horses last year. Top performers, nonetheless. Hukum, Minzal, Alflela, all had terrible injuries. But Hukum is back, 5-1. Jim Crowley, Owen Burrowns. And he's won that Group 3 from the Derby winner, Desert Crown. 2-5 favourite. Good way to bring out your first win over 10 as well for Hukum.